Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm Rowland, a UK producer, and today we're taking a look at some liquid DnB.
Okay, so I have no plans here. I've not prepped anything, so I'm somewhat concerned whether this is going to go well or not. But this is kind of what I want people to see, that sometimes ideas don't come out great, sometimes they'll be all right, and you never really know what's going to happen. So let's be honest, the first thing most people do these days is just jump straight and grab some kind of sample. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go to Splice, and I'm feeling something soulful. So let's go soul. Let's see what we get. I mean, straight away, it sounds pretty cool. I think that it kind of reminds me of a lot of the stuff that's going on in Speed Garage at the minute. But let's see if we can sneak it into some drum and bass. That'd be good. So I just dragged that in. I mean, let's have a look. What BPM was that? This is something that a lot of people might skip, but it's really important to just keep an eye on the key and the BPM and things, that the information it's giving you, because it's going to be handy. So I've just set this to 174 because that's just kind of a generic BPM for liquid. But I mean, 172, 176, you can see loads these days. Depends how people are feeling. So I'm going to guess let's turn off. If we turn flex on and go straight for, I don't know, so turning that on there and making sure it's armed on the channel. You see it's just kind of analysed it there. Let's go there. I'm just basically stretching it to try and fit what I think the tempo is going to need. So whack the metronome on. It's not quite there, so let's just squeeze it into 16 bars, see what happens when we do that. Let's just turn that down a little bit, trying to deafen everyone. Still working out OBS and get all the mix right, so it's going to be a test, this one is. That sounds better. I can't seem to catch you, darling. I've been up all night. There's no one out there that'll stop me falling. Running through my mind. Let's see if some of these different algorithms for the flex sound a bit nicer. Let's try rhythmic. There's no one out there that'll stop me falling. Yeah, it's not quite there. We'll stick with polyphonic for now. I think there's a few bits in there that might need just a little nudge just to make it kind of sit with the groove, but we're off to a start, so let's just go with that. Now I think we're in D minor. Really, I'd want to sit in like an F area because it's just a nice place for subs to sit. So I just want to quickly see what this is going to sound like if we nudge it up. We're at D minor now. Just have a look. Let's just get the keyboard up. Not bad. So we're at D, which would be this here. So 2 semitones for E, 3 would get us to F. So I mean, let's find out. A real simple thing. Most people might jump to the pitch correction here and try and do it that way. But if you just select the region and go transpose, you can just nudge it there. You have to be careful. If you've got multiple instances of it, it might only do the one. So just check it does all of them. Otherwise, you'll be listening back and it'll just drop to a lower key. And you'll be like, what's going on? It's a bit high. I mean, straight away, let's just cut the bottom end of that out. The reason I've done that is, look, you see that there? We've still got a little bit of low end coming through. You just don't need it in vocals. If I cut that out, tell me if you can hear the difference. So that's just carving out this space for the kick and the sub later. That there's no need for it to be there. What about if we went and got no affiliations, no kind of promotions or anything, but a little alter boy. Let's get some alter boy, and instead of changing the pitch, let's just drop the formant. A little bit of drive. Get some artifacts in there, but so with and without. Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep it, but it's funky for now. So we've got a bit of vocals. It's always a good start. We've got a bit of a focal point. So I mean, what else have we got for soul stuff? I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm looking just for chords, really. It's quite nice. I think I've used that in a track before. Bit much. Now if you look, that's already an F minor. The tempo is a bit off, but we could cut this up and make something cool out of it. No idea how this is gonna go, but I'm feeling that it's got a bit of bass in it, which we might have to scoop out, but that was a fluke. Let's see if we flex that. Turn flex on, remember, and let's see if we stretch it out to fit how that sounds first. We'll get rid of the vocal because it's probably not going to sit with that straight away. Let's turn that down. Nice. And it's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm not worried about the timing now. It's sitting nicely. I mean, let's try some fun stuff. I mean, I'll try stem splitter because it'd be nice if we could get those chords away from the bass. See there, we've now got just that little vocal. Let's turn that down as well, otherwise we're all going to be deaf by the end of this video. Like, that's cool, but we could probably do without it. Let's see what we get with this. Okay. That's all we want. So the bass isn't there. Oh, the little twinkly bits at the end, that was cool. Cool, okay, so I mean, the bass on its own, let's have a listen. I mean, that's quite nice. There's no one out there that'll stop me from I just thought I'd unsolo it, just quickly see what it sounded like. I should really cut this up and move it around, but I really want to keep that on its own. I mean, firstly, let's go get those chords. And if we just drag these into a blank space over here and go, I don't know, quick sampler optimize, let's see what that does. Okay, so let's go to slice. You see, it's cut it all up by transients. I did a reel on this. You might have seen it on the gram and TikTok and all that. I'm trying to be cool, right? What we got here? So I've just taken the sensitivity down of the slicing so that it's not, if you look at that, there's like 400 different cuts. When I try and play that on here, it's a bit much. So if I just take that down, that looks nice in terms of where it's cut. It seems to be the beginning of a lot of the samples. Okay, I need to make sure I'm in the right octave on. The nice thing about this is it's going to be velocity sensitive as well. So depending on how hard I hit the, you probably can't see this in here, can you? But I'm just using this little MIDI keyboard, costs like 30 quid. I don't know, got a Facebook marketplace. But let's see if we can find some groovy. Now, that's pretty cool. I like where we're going with it. Let's just mute this that we split. So now we can, I don't know, what should we leave in? Should we do the vocals? Okay, so I'm finding it difficult with the vocals, but this is what I want to show you. Sometimes it doesn't all just magically happen. You've got to sit and kind of find some groovy stuff. Now, it would be nice if I could get rid of these, or a couple of them. Because you see how some of them you don't need. I don't need this one that's cut in this nice long note. So we've got basically that chord which I like, That I like. And then, what's that one up there? That's the same as that chord. Oh no, it's not. Ooh. Okay, that's pretty cool. So, right about now, like I've got some chords that I can play around with. I've got a vocal that I might be able to fit in later, and I've got a bass. I think what we need to do is start getting some kind of bits down. I feel like I'm going to leave the bass as it is. Let's get that out on its own track. Let's turn that off. Why am I getting nothing out of that? That's always fun. 2 seconds. There we go. It's because I muted that. If we create a new track for it then. So there we go. I've just created a new track and it's completely got rid of all my flex. Love it when it does that. There you go. It's back. So now... Oh, it's loaded up this patch for me. I don't want that. If we try doing that and just change it to mic or line, we get an empty track. That's better. Same again. It's got rid of the flex. Oh, I've just got rid of my sampler. Let's put that back. Flex on for this channel. Boop. That's nice. That's sorted. Let's delete that. So what we got? I've moved the wrong bit. That's what we want. It's a hefty bass, you know. So. Okay, let's just get those initial chords down. Okay, so I think some of the notes are overlapping there, so let's open that up. Just select all. I'm just going to open this up a bit. Quantize it to, I mean, that fourth note should do. Just tighten that up. That, I think, that wasn't accidental. I think I did that on purpose. Let's just listen to it and make sure that the velocities are okay. Yeah, you see how a lot of them are a bit off. Tell you what we'll do. Let's just not deafen everyone with that. And if we select all, I'm pretty sure it's if you hold that. No, it's not working for me. Shortcuts are obviously screwed today. There is a shortcut that you can press and get everything to max. And it's bugging me that it's not working. Let's try that again. There we go. Yes, option button I think on Mac. Swing, swing, swing. Now this is going to sound a bit pants because it's very loud, but we can sort that later. Okay, so let's just treat this a little bit. Let's just scoop the lows out. There we go, got room for that bass again now. Now usually I'd add some reverb, but I feel like it's so spacey anyway, it's not going to need it. Okay. You see how just scooping out the bottom of that has just made this bass just hit us right in the face, like, whoa. Okay. So I'm going to stick the vocal back in, I don't know if it's going to be any good. not bad. I mean, this is going to be a rough and ready track. Okay, let's just go with that. Okay, all I did there was just, the vocal sounded a little bit weak, so I just turned it up a little bit so that it sat with the bass. This is one of those things that it's probably not going to be the level that I leave it at the end of the track, but just on the fly mixing while you go and just helps kind of get the idea out without getting bogged down too much and keeping everything level all the time. We're just trying to get a bit of a creative flow going here. So, and a big old chroma verb on there. I love this reverb. I used to be a massive space designer fan for Logic, but since I upgraded and got chroma verb, it sounds beautiful. I don't even know if there is an impulse based reverb, but it's just lovely. So that was chroma verb, cathedral setting, 100% dry because it's on the track. If we were putting that reverb on a bus, I'd maybe put it 100% wet and then choose the amount that I'll send into the bus. I could do another video on that if you want. And then always EQ your reverbs. EQ your reverbs. Take the low end out. You probably don't want as much high end as you think. It sounds great for a bit, but after a while it's just fatiguing. So we've gone from I can feel a little groove in that. So let me turn all the plugins off. We've got channel EQ. Subtle, but you can hear the difference. Little old boy just kind of makes it sound moody. Bit of reverb. I mean, for now, why not? I was considering it. I got this plugin for free the other day from Waves, which, shout out. Let's have a look. Silk Vocal. It's incredible. It saves me so much time. I'm just going to go for this random setting, raw to pro female. Maybe gain match, just so that it doesn't send things crazy. Oh. There we go. Now it's got some body. Let's add the bass and the chords. Cool, right, let's have some drums. Let's have some fun. Okay. I'm not going to spend hours going, let's get individual kicks and let's get some individual snares and layer everything up. Because, let's be honest, sometimes the stuff you get from Splice is pretty decent anyway. So, if I just go BPM, I don't know, about 150. I like to have a range because if I'm flexing stuff, that's fine. If it's something, let's say, that's way off and I try and squeeze it and flex it, it's going to sound weird. But if it's within, I don't know, 20, 30 BPM range, it's usually going to sound all right if you just kind of expand or contract it a little bit in terms of rhythm. Let's have a look. So, genres, let's just go liquid DnB, eh? Just filter drums. We'll just go for loops for the sake of this video. I don't know. Should we start with, let's get some hi-hats on the go. Just some hats. Now, Splice do offer a feature where you can incorporate it, where you can actually build things in Splice plugin, but I think they're starting to get integration with Pro Tools. Hopefully one day with Logic, that would make life a lot easier. But the way around it, that I guess everyone's doing at the minute, is just leaving it looping on Logic and picking a hi-hat. So I'll do that now. It might get a bit loud, so I won't talk while I do it. But all I'm doing is just cycling through. These are samples that I've just downloaded over the years on Splice. I should probably sort it out because I've got way too many credits now. But yeah, let's find a hi-hat. Ooh, I like that. It's kind of jungly. Let's take that volume down, don't want to deafen you. Okay, that sounds all right, but I think we're not getting the feel of DnB yet because we need the kick and the snare. I've got ahead of myself and gone, oh, let's get some hats, but let's just get the kick and the snare going, shall we? So let's get some kicks. I've gone back into buying them at the minute. I mean, that would be really cheating, wouldn't it? Just using a sample for the whole thing. I mean, just to show you that it can work, let's do it. I think a lot of producers would see this as blasphemy, really, just taking a loop and just using it. But the reason it's not great is because you then need to try and work the kick separately and the snares. You need to EQ the kick then, and you can't do that if it's on the same channel. But now that the stem splitting stuff's come into the realm of Logic and other doors, I guess you could get away with it. Let's see, let's put it on. This is like a real bugbear of mine, something you want to keep an eye on. See how the bass, I made a mono channel here. You can change it to stereo just by clicking that, but that's why the bass is nice and fat and down the middle. But I've just dragged this in and it's automatically created a stereo channel for it, and you'll see it's just coming through the left there. That's me actually. But so if I change that to mono, there we go, that should be better. But okay. Okay, it's kind of cool, but I feel like we're not going to do that for this video. That's cheating. So let's go back to Splice. I'm going to go back to my sounds and let's get something that we like. So Liquid DnB, drums. So we want kicks and snares, don't we? So let's just go kicks. See, that sounds nice, but I don't like you can hear kind of a resonance after the kick drum. It's just like it's just, no. For drum and bass, because it's such a fast-paced rhythmic genre, you want real tight samples. So yeah, there are loads of people that will avoid that, but I need something tight that's not going to fill the soundscape, I guess. Don't like they've layered that with a hi-hat and some kind of flammy snare, I think. Not a big fan. Too low. There is obviously a lot of genres that will take a real subby kick, or they take a kick and layer it up with an 808, which is cool, and you do see it in drum and bass. But for liquid stuff, you're going to end up with quite a subby bass anyway. So picking a kick that's just going to fight it, you're going to end up having to do auto filters or do side chaining or track spacing, and it's a bit of a mess. So if you just pick a good kick to begin with that's got quite a nice snap at the top, a good thud at the bottom that just kind of helps you know where the rhythm of the track is, that's good. You don't need some crazy kick. That's quite nice. Minimal kick. Makes sense. What about this one? It's quite low, that one. We're going to go for that one. Let's see how that sounds. Now that's 172 BPM, so as always, remember, bring it in and flex. So to most, you drag that in and look at it, that's fine. But then you zoom in and realise that it's not quite. There you go. So it's always worth, even if it looks about right, just turning flex on, grabbing it, doing that, and just making sure that it's on. Otherwise you'll get halfway through your 16 bar and think, why is my drummer drunk? Let's see how that sounds. Loop that. Bush. Let's turn that down a little bit and put money on it. Yep, let's change it to stereo channel. Let's keep it mono because it's kick. Okay, yeah, I'm liking the kick. That's good. Now let's get a snare. Or maybe not even a snare. I think some liquid because you don't need this big, powerful dubstep snare that's snapping you in the face every 2 seconds. Sometimes it's quite nice to have like a rim or a snare. I'm not sure. Let's see what we like. So that's the one we just there. I mean, that sounds more like a rim. Yeah, it's like a rim shot with loads of reverb on it, which might work with this. A bit tinny. Yeah. Ugh. I'm not liking these. I'll tell you what, let's go and find a rim shot. What we got? I mean, you could filter it down to genres and BPMs, but really, let's just find one we like the sound of. That one. Straight away. Let's just grab that. Okay. Drag that in. I mean, yeah, I would have never found that. What was that under in Splice? That was Live Sounds West African drum rim shot. Yeah, I wouldn't have been filtering it down to that one. So it's another way, I guess, that you can make sure that you've not got the same samples everyone else is using. Let's have a look. So just flexed it to make sure that it's sat nicely. It's going to be around there, I guess. I said we wouldn't do this at the beginning, didn't I? Stereo track again. Let's just change that to mono and just drop it, I don't know, 6. Yeah, now we're rocking. I don't say rocking. Ugh. So we want that there. Okay, right. This is probably a very lazy way of doing it. I could probably put it into a sampler and stuff, but hey, I like it. It's a bit loud. Okay, let's do the same as we did before. I'm just going for a generic, I don't know, 120 for now. Maybe bring that up a little bit, just keep it out of the way of the kick a bit more. And to be fair, I quite like the punch of it. I don't think it needs compression at the minute, because as much as everyone loves compression, you don't always need it. It's nice for gluing stuff together later and mixing, but you don't always need it. So I should set a bus up, but if I do more videos, I'll do it a bit more justice in the mixing process and routing and stuff. But for now, let's just see what that sounds like with a little bit more reverb on it. I have picked the same setting as the other stuff we were using, so sounds nice. I think the decay could come down a little bit because we don't want it to make the next hit muddy. We want it to kind of die off just before the next hit. Another reason I love the chroma reverb is because you can visually see the tail of the reverb, so that's helping me choose what length decay I should use. Real nice. Yeah. Cool. Now the fun bit, I always find this a bit fun, just finding some hi-hats that sits nicely with what you've got. So same again, I'm going to leave it running. I won't keep talking because you won't be able to hear me too well. And let's find some hi-hats. I'm not necessarily finding ones that, I'm not trying to get it to start and play and sit perfectly. I'm just listening to hear whether the tonality and the rhythm is going to sit quite well with what we've already got, and we can make it fit later with flex. So that bass is heavy. So I want something quite straight, something like that. It's like 16th notes or something. Too fast. Let's get in there. Let's just go hats, see what we get. going to get fatigued if I leave that running. Right. That's basically the 16th note pattern I want, but it's like they've left the hi-hat open a bit to, let's not go for that. Tell you what, we will change the BPM on this because it will narrow it down a bit quicker for us. Okay. Close. Like that. Let's see how that sounds. I'm gonna have to flex it. Right. So let's just take that down to about the same level everything else had. Flex to 8 bars so that it'll sit nicely in a 16. Okay. Let's see what we've got there. Bit too loud. Don't know how I feel about it. Let's see what was that other one? Right, I'm just going to quickly run through a couple of different ones and see what we're getting, because I don't want to take all day on the hi-hats. There we go. Let's see what we get with this one. Let's do -12. Yeah, I think that's better. The other one just felt a bit too busy, so let's stick with that, because all we're looking for here is just a hat. We can go to tops and stick a break in something later, but we've got the groove now. It's bouncing. It's bouncing. Let's bring the vocals back in. So what we could do is stick that vocal into a sampler as well. That'd be quite good. Let's tidy up. Let's just quickly let's get rid of this stuff. There we go. Keep the vocals out of it for now. Okay, let's try. See if we can find a break, or in Splicer called tops. So let's just filter by genre, shall we? And do, where is it? EDM. Bass music. There we go. Right. So drum and bass. We'll go drums. Look for. Oh, that's toms, not tops. There you go. Tops. See if we can find something that might sit with it. There might not be one. I mean, I've clearly used that one before. Let's chuck it in and see how it works. Right, -12. Because you got to think the name of the genre is drum and bass. So the kick and the snare, or the rim in this case, and the bass kind of needs to be the focal point. So I've left them, if we look, about -9, and then the bass is pretty much full volume, but then the hats and the tops, so I'm going to just let them sit a little bit lower, because if you've got in your face for a long time, it needs to be a bit of a softer level than everything else, so it doesn't give you a headache, which, to be fair, if you listen to it for too long, it probably will. Okay, see how we're getting a load of low end again for no reason. Let's cut it out. So that I'm going to take a little bit more out than the other stuff. 150. Let's do the same on this one. I'll tell you what, let's be super lazy and just copy it over. Okay. Okay, so we've got bass, we've got some chords, and we've got the drums sorted. Vocals we can sneak in later. We just need something that can be a bit of a hook, a bit of a melody that isn't the vocal that we can kind of interchange with the vocal samples. I'm thinking, let's try a bit of a saxophone. Let's just see what we get. Key, we were in, if I remember rightly, it was F minor. We're going to find out if it's not. Let's have a look. It's a little bit moody, that. So I'm gonna assume that most saxophone players aren't sitting their metronome at about 174 BPM. So what I'll do, and I think a lot of people do this, and that's how you find like soul stuff that works with drum and bass, is 174 divided by 2, so half time is going to be what, 50, 85, about 87. So if we change the BPM to B, I don't know, about 63 to, let's say, about 90. I quite like having 90 to 95 because you still get that breakbeat kind of area in it. Let's have a look. It's cool. Let's just I'm going to take out that top loop because that's for later on when things get busy. Okay. Okay, I think saxophone is definitely the way I want to go with it. Ooh, there we go, that's nice. Right. Now I did just hear at the end there, it's got a bit of a minor tone. Alright, calm yourself. It's got a bit of a minor note in one of these phrases that I don't like, so we'll fix that in a sec. If we flex it like that, stick it on a mono channel again, and maybe down by about 9. Let's find out. Let's give it 12. Okay, so I don't know about you lot, but I definitely don't like the second phrase in it. So we can just take them out. Now, see that my OCD wanted this to line up with the end of the 12th bar, but if I do that, I'm going to end up picking up the beginning of the next, so I'm going to have to deal with it for now. So let's do, like we've done with everything else, just kind of scoop the lows out because no one needs them if you're not called bass or kick. Yeah, you see how just nudging this down a little bit is just helping it sit below the other parts of the drums, and it just sits nice and out. Okay, right, how about if we take the vocal sample, do what we did with the chords, to do an optimized sampler, slice it, sensitivity down, quite a lot, because we could just use phrases with this one. What we got? tell you what, if we do slice, do that, and then I'm sure there's an option so that we can do equal divisions. That's always interesting. Okay. Now, I would want to get that so that it doesn't play over itself, which is usually, I can't remember where that is. I don't know, for another video. But we can, I'll tell you what we'll do. For the sake of this, I'm just going to cut it, and we'll do another video where we sample, or cut the samples up into a sampler, whatever the English would be for that. We'll take that out. So now it's kind of a call and response between the vocal and the sax. So I want it the other way around. I think it should be vocals first and then the sax responds. That would make more sense, I guess, because you wouldn't start a track with, I guess you could. Let's see how that sounds. Peace. Trying to kick me in the face there. Okay, nice. So let's do a quick bit of arranging. Now, I'm not going to go too far with this track today. We're not going to have like a full session. But if you guys want me to do a video where I'll arrange it and then mix it and master it, let me know. I can do that. And even release it. I'll do a video on getting it on Spotify and registering it with PRS, all that kind of stuff. That could be fun. So what I'm going to do now is just take that 16 bars that we've made, pretty much just loop the life out of it for a minute. It's probably not the best way of doing it, but let's do that, and then we'll just go like this. So I guess really we'll start with some chords. It's always nice to leave some kind of hi-hat or percussive instrument at the beginning so that anyone that's going to be using your track live has got something to base the tempo off or line things up with. We could take the original sample and put the whole thing in. Okay, so just like it's a pretty weak intro, but tell you what, let's not have that for the beginning. So let's delete that. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's getting there. We need some risers and stuff. So, because sounds, I've probably got some in my downloads. So let's just go risers. What we got? Not bad. It's got some weird low end in it. You'll see them called uplifters, downlifters, risers. There's lots of words for them. I like this first one. Yeah, let's go for that. I did a video once on you can make your own risers. Literally just by putting a mic on and going tss, and just recording it, and you get to time it. You can, it works really well. It's worth giving it a go. The good thing about these, because they're pretty much white noise, you can flex them and it's not going to sound that weird. It might change a little bit of the tonality, but nice. Okay, so let's just do what we did before. Cut the lows out, because you don't really want the lows in the build up for that, because you want the dynamic change to happen. As soon as this drops, you want the thud of the kick to come in. You want the bass to just kind of wash over you, like whoosh. Okay, so what we got? I think a bit of reverb on that would be nice as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a nice little tail that comes off it. Same again though, I'm going to cut the highs off. As much as that sounds a bit crazy, it's just too much fizzle at the top end. You can add that back in some saturation and a bit of clever mastering layer if you really want, but I think Saturn used to be a really good plugin for that. So you get a nice little tail, but we'll probably put a little downlifter after it as well. So let's just have a little listen from there. Nice. Okay, let's get a downlifter. Do that. And then, I mean, I could take that one and reverse it, but just to show that you can use lots of different ones, let's do that downlifter. We want quite a subtle one. Oh, man, that feels a bit sharp. That does. That's a bit nicer. Ooh. I like how high that is. It's like nice little fizzle in that. Okay, so let's flex that. Flex it. You'll notice on these ones I've left them as stereo channels, because the left and the right here, they might be the same. I can't really tell. There might be subtle differences. Yeah, I can tell. If I look right at the end there, you can just see, because there's little sections that aren't the same above. If I stay still for a second, that'd help. See how you've got notch and notch there. Here below it's just the first one, then it drops. So yeah, they are stereo information, which to be fair you can probably hear if you've got headphones on with this anyway. That's flexed. Let's be really lazy and just copy over the EQ and the reverb we did. This is not good practice. When you come to mixing and stuff, you want to bust everything and keep it all tidy. Let's just be lazy again and copy and paste that there. What I am going to do is, as this drops, let's have that come down again. So that's the downlifter. Let's just listen to how that sounds. Oh, it's too loud. Let's turn that down to, I think I set the other one to -12. Yeah. So let's go. We're going to make a little drop. So I'm not going to delete. It's a bad habit to delete stuff. Just mute and then test it before you do that. Let's see how this sounds. Okay, what we could do is a little reverse cymbal in there. Let's go. Reverse. I'll just put reverse and see what we get. It needs to be a fast one, like a 3-second one. Ooh, that's a bit much, wasn't it? I mean, that's kind of a reverse vocal, isn't it? It's like a dubstep reverse thing. Yeah, we could do that. See, these are all tonal because they've got a key to them. We just want something that's... Pardon me. Let's do this. Let's see what we get with this. It's a bit meh. Not a big fan of it, but let's just find out what we get. I'm going to put that to like -16 because it's going to be sharp. Let's take the lows out. Then I don't know if that's too much. Okay, it actually worked alright. Let's do -18. Just keep it out of the way a little bit. Let's try it without that noise there, just see if that adds a bit of dynamics. Nah, it just needs something there, doesn't it? Maybe we could duplicate that and have one track that's a little bit lower, just for now. 16? Just because it was a bit too much in your face. You still want the impact of the bass again. Yeah, there you go. Now I'm going to be really lazy again and just copy and paste that to this side. Now, why don't we do something funky, and at this point we're going to do the same as we did before. We'll take the bass out, take the kick out. We've got the reverse cymbal. We could do something a bit different. I think this is one of the main parts of DnB. You've got to have variation because it's quite repetitive. You need to do something new every like 4 to 8 bars, I'd say. Otherwise the ear and the listener get very bored. What gap have we got? What if we took a piece of that, if I duplicate the track, let's find where she says mind. That bit, okay. This will be fun, because we've already got the altar boy on there. So if I cut it so that it still fits with the grid, that's going to make life easier. What happens if I put that there? It's not quite in time, is it? I'll try that. If I do that. We could leave it like that for now. Let's just go on Little Altar Boy and let's just choose a preset. Like older is better or something weird like that. For solo it so we can really hear what it's doing to it. This might sound crazy. It's done nothing. What's going on? Okay, that's why. Let's go for... I'll just make my own one then. Low octave double. What if I change the mix to full? Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, a bit of drive, bring that out a bit. Okay, it's not that intelligible, or you can't quite hear what they're saying, but I don't think that matters as much because we've heard them say it so much over the course of the song. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I think we're going to leave it there for today, but it's just kind of giving you an idea of how you can go from just random sample to a track idea and just kind of getting the creative process started. We've not even touched on synth basses like Reese's and Hoover bass. We've not even really got into breaks, which I will add in at some point, but it's just giving you an idea of how you can get the initial idea there, and then you can just have some fun and start doing drops, start doing builds and stuff. But let's just have a listen to what we got. Sound needs a cymbal. something to kind of bring it back down. I think maybe we could just get rid of the vocals for this whole first section. This would be a great kind of section for like a rapper, some kind of artist to do something over the top. And maybe after this drop in the middle, that's when you bring in the synth bass, something a bit wobbier. Yeah, I need some cymbals, like something like that. So there you go. That's basically how I'd get started. I'm actually quite liking this one. So if you want to see more videos of me doing the arrangement, maybe adding some synth basses and some more vocals and just kind of tightening and finishing the track off, let me know. But also, if you want me to do any other videos on mixing, mastering, or if you've got any genres that you prefer me to do stuff on, like speed garage, house, anything kind of dancey, let me know. I'll do more videos. But if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to me ramble for God knows how long. I've not even kept track of it. But yeah, if you want more, please like, subscribe, and I'll be doing tons of these. Nice one.